Love it. The glassy waters of the Tennessee River.
Let me just say, whoever the creative writing expert was that wrote all that stuff that you just read about Thunder in Paradise is good at their job, because now I'm all of a sudden excited wanting to see this shit, wondering if it was better than I remember it, because that sounded way more exciting than what I remember Thunder in Paradise to be. So.
Well, we do our best here, Gene. Thank you. These lovely ladies.
So Baywatch-esque. I mean, just right off the bat.
I mean, you'll tell from the acting alone. Ooh, what's that?
The word acting there.
Yeah, exactly. What's that rumbling?
I wonder why they decided to give Hulk a patch.
He's got the Dean Ambrose gimmick. I guarantee somebody tried to take his eye. That's a thing in wrestling, by the way, Jared.
I know, but I'm just wondering what made them. I mean, like, was it because of that, or was it because they just thought it would look cool?
I think that was it. Gene, you got any idea on the patch?
Perhaps, Randy Savage might have punched him in the eye again, or maybe he had another, air quotes, jet ski accident, perhaps.
Is this the boat that hit Brutus in the face?
I don't know if he just survived that one, brother.
This is a pretty high-tech bass tracker here, boys. Now, of course, Chris Lemmon, who was Jack Lemmon's son, the amazing actor Jack Lemmon. Honestly, I don't know that he ever acted again after this, though.
I thought he looked so familiar, like he looked like somebody, and it's Jack Lemmon who he looks like.
Yeah. So that makes Hulk the Walter Matthau of the bunch.
That doesn't work for me, brother.
Monitor transmissions clear. Circle detection clear.
Now, how old are you, Gene?
I'm 45 years old.
Oh man, you're right in the zone then. Yeah, so you remember this for sure.
Oh, I did, man. This was in the days when if it involved a wrestler, especially Terry Hulk Hogan, I was going to watch it no matter what.
Yeah, definitely. Us too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we were two Southern kids. We followed NWA and Mid-Atlantic and went into WCW kids, and then it was always primary WCW for us too. So
yeah, I watched every bit of wrestling I could get my hand on. I never understood the whole I'm a WF guy or I'm a WCW guy. Like if there was wrestling was on and I knew about it, I was watching it.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We would skip church sometimes, Gene, so
Yeah, JC will understand.
He does. He would do it too,
We watched a fair bit of Smoky Mountain on the...
Oh yeah, we did, actually live.
Weekends.
Yeah.
I mean, we got this, GP Network's got the UWF Fury cast where we're going back watching the old Herb Abrams UWF. And that's how oblivious I was. I didn't even realize that sucked back in the day. Like, I just knew it was wrestling,
Dude, I love that UWF Fury cast, by the way. We're going to talk about that for sure, so go ahead and talk a little bit about that, man. Herb Abrams, dude, what a visionary at the same time, what a nut, right? I mean...
Yeah, he is the poster child of Money Mark, wrestling fan who somehow came into enough money to try to run his own, promotion, and just has enough money to enough money and enough cocaine in the system to just fail spectacularly in front of everybody. It's my friend Bob swears that I've chose this just to make his life miserable, and it's a rib on him. But I'm fascinated by it. I find the whole thing, the whole Herb Abrams story, is just always been fascinating to me.
I agree, man. We were planning on doing a what if version of that, and of course we'll have you on when that happens. We would love to, because you're kind of slowly probably turning into a bit of an expert of the UWF and its shows. So
sad but true.
You know, funny, Chris Lemon here, he's playing a character named Brew. Now, of course, do you think Hogan just didn't want to learn a new name? So he was like, Brutus, Brew.
Oh,
hey,
even back then, I assumed 100% that was the reason, you know, like homage to the Barber.
So you would almost assume that the Barber would be playing this role, but you know his acting's probably not that good. But
you'll see here in a few minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You know what's funny, though, is George Foreman was originally offered the role of Brew, but he turned it down due to scheduling conflicts that prevented him from committing. Yeah, can you imagine that train wreck?
That would have been amazing.
I know, right? It would have been amazing.
So speaking to George Foreman, you know that Hogan got the original call for the Foreman Grill, but he didn't answer. They didn't answer the phone.
Right. And
so then he got the power mixer, and Foreman got the grill.
Yeah. I think it was similar with the Cincinnati Reds and also with Metallica, too. He just didn't answer the call on those either.
Yeah, he's had an amazing career, but if he'd answered his phone at the right time, it would have been a whole nother level.
Exactly.
He wouldn't be signing $400 autographs at a beach shop in his spare time.
Yeah. So, Gene, what's the show you're most proud of that you worked on? What's your one? If you could pick a few shows, but you know, what's the one interview that you're just the proudest of that you?
I guess the Bruno Sammartino interview, just because what he did in business, and he just had such an interesting story before he ever even stepped in the ring, and we really didn't touch on that a whole lot.
Yeah.
But I just, as I'm sitting there talking to him, I'm just like, I can't believe I'm talking to one of the greatest champions and biggest draws in the history of the business. It was pretty surreal.
Dude, totally.
Yeah, but his childhood story is like so amazing in its own right that it's,
absolutely.
That it's like that feels like that generation's dying off every day.
Yeah.
And so not many more people are going to have those stories like him. So
the other thing, Randy Hales, who was, a staple in Memphis, somebody Wolfie's very aware of. And
absolutely.
Plays a big part in his story. He had left the business and it pretty much just disappeared off the face of the earth. He was over there managing a Sonic in Arkansas.
Sonic, yeah.
And I got a hold of his email and started swapping emails with him, trying to get him to do a podcast. He was so anti-wrestling, but me and him had a few phone conversations, and once he got to talking about wrestling, he agreed to do the podcast, which turned into like 3 different podcasts. And then next thing you know, he's talking to Brandon Baxter and had one foot in the business, and some people will say I'm to blame for Randy Hales getting involved in wrestling, and some people say it's a good thing, some people said it wasn't, but even he has told me that that had a lot to do with it, that he kind of had shut wrestling out of his mind until we started talking about it, and it kind of opened that door again.
Yeah, well, obviously he's a huge buddy of Wolfie D. He's the 3rd member of PG-13, and we've had him on the Wolfie D show for 3 times so far. He actually took over for one of Wolfie's he missed one episode, and Randy came in and helped us. And yes, Randy speaks very highly of you, Gene. So
awesome. That's good to hear. And it's amazing to think when you talk to him now that he was ever able to step away from the business and not talk about it and not think about it or love it, because man, he's so passionate about it
and knowledgeable,
so ingrained in it. And I loved his book. So it's good that he's back out there now. He's doing podcasts about Memphis wrestling, and as he should be.
He should be, absolutely. Love it. But yeah, Bruno, man, wow. I mean, we had Greg Gagne and Magnum TA on, and we're absolutely proud of those. But those came from us shooting Steve Rosenthal, a question about doing an interview, and then it just kind of snowballed into getting Magnum and Greg. But, all due respect to Greg, you know, maybe we can compare Bruno to Vern, you know, but not necessarily Greg. But the Magnum, he's also one of those people that could have been a Bruno, but unfortunately, you know, things happened. So Hogan shot out of there like somebody. Never mind. I'm trying to keep it PG here.
So, I've talked about this on other podcasts. I want to get y'all's take on this. Like, Roddy Piper. I enjoyed Roddy Piper. I was a huge Roddy Piper fan in general.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed him as an actor because in movies he was in, I could kind of shut it off and believe that, you know, Roddy Piper's this bounty hunter, or he's this, you know, cop, or an alien, or whatever the hell he is, and all these things. And same can be said for, you know, some of the other Terry Funk and different guys in movies. But, like, my big issue with Hulk Hogan is, like, no matter what role you put him in, what story you put around him, you're always fully aware. Like, right now, I'm fully aware this is Hulk Hogan with an eye patch on a jet ski. I don't believe he's this character. I'm not lost in the story. It's just like, Hulk Hogan's on a freaking jet ski right now with an eye patch. Like, what's happening? You know?
He's not John Nada. He's not Hell Comes to Frog Time. I mean, he is literally Hogan on a jet ski with an eye patch.
Yes, Chris Lemon's son. I mean Jack Lemon's son.
Yes.
I think, I mean, to me, like, in his instance, like, maybe things would just work better if you could call him Hulk Hogan. Like,
yeah.
We got former professional wrestler Hulk Hogan here, who's
saving the freaking day. Yeah.
Who's now a trained operative that can
fight Cubans.
Yeah, and pull a Samson here and knock the poles out.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Definitely doing a Samson there. Nice throwback there.
But yeah, you're totally right. It's hard to see him as anything but Hulk Hogan. I mean, and that's a good thing and a bad thing when you're trying to do something like this.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a testament to what a character he was and a staple of the 80s and pop culture, but at the same time, if you're trying to have a life after wrestling, it's made it very hard.
Yeah. Well, so what's funny about this is Hulk Hogan parted ways with the WWF in order to film this series. Hulk got his job with WCW as a result of doing this series in the studio next to WCW at Disney World. According to Ric Flair, WCW President Eric Bischoff asked Flair to organize a meeting with Hogan. Flair and Bischoff visited Hulk on location in the swamp area of St. Petersburg, where Hogan was filming a scene for Thunder in Paradise, and held the meeting in Hulk's trailer. When Bischoff told Hogan how much money the Turner organization was willing to pay him to work for WCW, Hogan immediately accepted WCW's offer and decided he had enough of the grueling filming schedule for Thunder in Paradise. So you can almost say that WCW killed Thunder in Paradise, but maybe it was a good thing.
I was gonna say, well, at least that's something good people can attach to WCW, since people are always so negative at this point. It seems like, hey, nothing else. They killed Thunder in Paradise. So
Exactly. I didn't read that in the book, man. That WCW Dead book or whatever. What is that book? Anyway,
I don't feel like Thunder in Paradise would probably still be running if Eric Bischoff had made that offer. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. He would still be paralyzed.
A Law and Order like run. Yeah, the storylines might have dried up. Yeah, I get it. European uppercut right there, it looked like.
I mean, if you don't get Eric Bischoff and Flair getting that conversation, you never get the Hollywood Hogan in the NWO, maybe. Or maybe it's different in the NWO.
Yeah, so, Bischoff to this day says that, originally his intention was for Sting to be the leader of the NWO.
Right.
And I just don't know that it would have took off or had the same feel if you put Sting in Hogan's role and you didn't have the three invaders from, sure, Hogan's been there for 2 years at that point, but still, you can buy it as, okay, these are three WF guys, with a hostile takeover WCW. Sting was the most WCW guy of all time, aside from Ric Flair. I just don't think it felt the same.
Totally.
Yeah. I mean, to me, maybe if you could have got Shawn Michaels at the same time.
Yes.
Guys, watch this. I gotta bother you here. This part. So yes, this is part of the beams that he just broke apart, I think, and
that's a shoot right there, brother. That was a
hit him with the big hog.
Pole. He just clotheslined those guys with.
Anyway, so yeah, go ahead, Jared. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I was just saying, maybe if you had Shawn Michaels or maybe even Bret Hart and the two others might have worked, but
yeah, but Hogan had only dogged, I think, WWF the whole time that he had been there, but still, 2 years later, he can join the NWO. It still was probably the best option, and I think it was the only option in my personal opinion. Oh man, look at that beautiful, clear Florida lake water there.
it's Cuban water, isn't it?
Oh yeah, Cuban. My bad.
Well,
Sorry. Yeah.
Allegedly, Cuban. I'm sure it is Florida lake water, but
Gene's a pro. He uses allegedly a lot. I like this. You can tell he ain't getting sued. I love it.
yeah, dodging lawsuits, brother.
Yeah.
Hey, Gene, it's with the rush to starting the show. I didn't get my favorite question out to you, but I'll go ahead and do it now. Give me your Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling, and it could be for whatever reason. It's just your top four. We'll even give you five if you need to get your favorite pro wrestlers or people in the pro wrestling business of all time.
Whew. All right, that's tough, but we're gonna say Roddy Piper, Jerry Lawler,
Boom.
believe it or not, Sting. I was a huge Sting guy back in the 90s. I'm not
I love Sting.
overjoyed that he's still doing it now, but he's not hurting anybody.
Right.
Ooh, that fourth one's tough. Everybody expects me to say Flair, and I love Flair. I was a big fan of him back in the day, but for a variety of reasons, he just doesn't necessarily make my Mount Rushmore of all times.
Okay.
But those first two, I guess I'd have to say Dusty Rhodes.
Okay.
Yeah, nice.
I like that.
Very good list, man.
Honorable mention, or if you did plug in that number 5, would be Bret Hart.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that I'm not a Shawn Michaels fan. We have this ongoing debate and on Cheap Heat that Charles Anders feels like you have to either be a Bret guy or a Shawn guy. You can't really be both.
Right.
And him and Scott are hardcore Shawn guys, so I profess to be a hardcore Bret guy, which I am. But I'm also also can acknowledge Shawn's talent and contributions to the business. I don't think you have to be one or the other. But if you break it down and say, all right, pick a camp, I'm going Bret.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm with you there.
Yeah, and I think it's somewhat. The more I've known about Shawn's personality, sometimes during the Attitude Era, and how he was just not very great to get along with, kind of pushes me towards Bret a little more.
Right.
Yeah, it definitely sours some things when you go back and look at it in that light.
Yeah.
Welcome to the paradise.
So that's the problem with retrospect. Sometimes you get you know too much about somebody.
Right.
Yeah. Now, this actually, while we're talking here, this gentleman right here, Patrick McNee, he plays the uncle or the father or something of the girl, and he is actually a motor torpedo boat commander in World War II, whose mission included smuggling secret agents into Nazi-occupied Europe. So this dude is a legit MFer right here. So,
wow.
Yeah. You wouldn't expect that from his character, and man, I tell you, those.
You get to see Frank. You get to see Frankie working again there.
Yeah, exactly. That's so good.
Hope he made the credits.
You got the running in slow motion via Baywatch.
Yes. And then the unfortunately whitest reggae music ever.
Jimmy Hart, I'm sure, composed it. If I had to
Baby, I can do reggae.
Something to do with the theme.
I can do reggae, baby. Have you ever heard of the Gentrys, baby? We have, Jimmy. We have. Carol Alt. I wonder if that was a
talent
stunt.
there. How she got the job?
Yeah, exactly.
She does this thing with a cherry stem, brother.
I tell you, brother. Is that Ted Arcidi there, Jim?
Ted Arcidi.
Hell yes.
Is that Ted Arcidi?
I don't think it is, but I wish
We're
it
gonna
were.
pretend it is if they don't show him again.
Gene, that is our focus right now, is getting Ted Arcidi on the podcast. So, you know.
Oh, guys, if y'all pull that off, that will be. I will officially be jealous that that's the all-time greatest guest. And I know that most of all three guys that you're listening to right now, folks, most of our fandom stems from an LJN action figure, which I know is just absolutely bizarre.
Yeah.
But I don't care. Like, he's the man.
It's a killer figure for how insignificant his career was in the WWF. That's like,
Yeah.
Exactly. Like,
What I hear about
I remember as a kid, like, friends who were just casual fans are just like, who's this guy? I was like, that's Ted Arcidi. Like, I've never heard of him. Like, he was on the big event. That was I mean, like, by the time I was collecting and everything, he really wasn't on TV, but I had rented the VHS of the big event and saw him on there.
Yes. Yes.
Bear hugging Tony Garea.
He was in the WrestleMania 2 Battle Royal. That was that was like the first place I ever saw him. And then his action figure happened, and I was just like, "Oh my God, this dude's bigger than Hogan! Are you kidding me?" You know.
this is Garrett from the Facts of Life.
I
I was about
know.
to say, oh my gosh, we got a Facts of Life cameo.
Take the
here.
good, you take the bad, y'all.
Take them both, and there you have Thunder and freaking Paradise.
Exactly.
I mean, respect for this guy, World War II hero, and he's sitting there with some beautiful women. I mean,
That's right.
What's this about you taking
Hogan's like, Jimmy couldn't get Tootie for us, brother, but we got Edna.
Tootie. We would have settled for Joe, brother. Not the old lady. Oh, baby, she'll work, baby.
Natalie's too fat, brother. We need
Yeah.
we need body chicks on here.
Yeah, we're looking for bodies. I feel like there's been always a British chick in everything, from like 2.5 Men to like everything. There's a random brunette British chick who's trying to marry somebody, and it's, questionable. Maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't, but
And I feel like they won't admit it, but that's exactly how it's in the script, is just brunette British chick. And they're like, we still gotta cast the brunette British chick. Okay.
exactly. And they're like, do it like 2.5 Men did it. Sir, 2.5 Men, what is that? I don't know what that is. Oh, okay, never mind.
You remember Charlie Sheen? We don't talk about him in Hollywood anymore.
The guy from Hot Shots Part 2?
I'm even over in Cuba, brother. Look at this.
is this Little Havana or is this?
Yeah, maybe.
This is just Miami. It's this.
Yeah, seriously.
This is just a Tuesday in
That's
Miami.
90 miles from Cuba.
Miami on the 4th of July here.
Senora Palma, watch your step. All right, man.
Is that Kenny Loggins?
Oh, I hope it is. Kenny Loggins, man.
Meet me halfway.
Yeah.
Go a little over the top there.
Hey, I don't give a... If you hear that song, that's a great song. So,
No, I love that song. It's what,
yeah.
Great movie. I mean,
over the top brings a tear to my eye.
So what's funny is, used to constant travel throughout his wrestling career, Hogan had one stipulation in doing this show, that the pilot be filmed in his hometown of Clearwater, brother. So producers agreed, and Hogan accepted the role. So this is beautiful Clearwater here, y'all.
Mm.
Okay. Give me 5.
oh,
Keep the change. After they turned down my idea for Thunder, I decided to leave the Navy and...
No,
Killed
this is
that.
John
Hammer it
Tenta's
all on
mouth.
his own.
Yeah. Our Navy
Ladies and gentlemen, John Tenta.
got me totally drunk and shoved me in a tank with a shark that hadn't been fed.
John Tenta. He always seemed like he would actually be a nice guy.
I'm sure he was. You ever meet him?
by all accounts, he was. I never got a chance to meet him, but I've never heard a bad story about John Tenta for people who have.
I just love his promos were like, "Hey, I tell you.
I got my
You know, it was like super screamy hoarse, just like to the nth degree.
And he did all that as the earthquake. You know, he did that wobbling back and forth. And
I know.
he even sound. I don't know if it's by design or he was just really blown up, but like, Hogan, and you can just tell by the end of it, like he's got to sit down. Like as soon as you turn the camera off, he is.
Where's
fucking
Jake's
prepared.
oxygen at? Damn it.
Ever since then, I've been flaying my own
Hogan
sharks.
shredded his
You never
hand
know what
like
you'll find
Goldberg's
inside the
tendons on that windshield doing. Little known fact.
Let's see what's inside our little friend.
Okay.
So while we're looking at Hogan do things to a shark no one should, talk about Buck Jenkins a little bit, man.
Oh, must we?
Must have been a small
Yeah.
thought,
So
huh?
it's kind of a long story, but so I've been involved in comedy off and on since 2006, and there's I used to work for a wrestling promotion called IWA Deep South / $10 Wrestling / LXW for a promoter named Kevin Brannon, an infamous promoter named Kevin Brannon, and he had a character named Ronnie Jenkins on the show,
Okay.
played by our friend Jeremy Flint.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Probably tell that story better than I can. And eventually, Whitey Jenkins became a cousin of Ronnie Jenkins once Ronnie Jenkins died off.
Yes.
And he was a comedy character in wrestling, which I eventually decided to take to the stage and do stand-up with.
Yeah.
And in the last few months, became apparent that a lot of people were uncomfortable booking or at least advertising a character named Whitey Jenkins.
Right.
Thinking there was implications of it being something
Sure.
racist or something of the sort, which there wasn't any element of that, but I understood
Sure.
where people got that from, so we changed the name to Buck Jenkins, and I do stand up as Gene sometimes, but I actually prefer doing it in the character Buck Jenkins because it's a little easier to write for that guy because you know exactly who that guy is, and crowds,
Definitely.
even if you've never been there before, as soon as they see this guy and hear that voice, they're like, okay, yeah, I know who this guy is. I know what he thinks.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the bookings are starting to pick up. He's starting to get out there a little more. So
He's hilarious, by the way. I love it. I've watched quite a few.
BuckJenkinsComedy.com if you want to check it
Yes.
out.
Highly recommend it. Yeah, dude,
I highly
you said
recommend
stuff-
Hulk
that I
Hogan in a
think-
Speedo here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Hogan in a
gracious.
Speedo. Yeah. Somehow the yellow trunks and the boots just feel like he's not as naked, but right
Yeah.
here.
What can I say?
Here, especially with the little girl right there, this just
I
feels
know.
very uncomfortable.
No, I'm not Hogan with the 10 inches. I am Terry Bollea with the...
Don't worry.
And you got this creep over here taking pictures, which
Seriously.
just everything about this scene feels wrong right now. Like,
I know, literally everything.
I think parasailing is too dangerous for Jeff.
Hogan still got the best tan out there, though.
See
Oh,
you later, Squirt.
yeah.
hearing
actually-
Hogan talk in this voice, not yelling like he did in his promos, everything feels like a it feels like one of those Right Guard commercials. Like
It
it just
does.
sounds out of context.
How's it going, Nicole?
Never had a better day, Hurricane. Why don't we go lay this down behind the dunes? And I'll show you how
Yeah.
exciting a parasite
Well.
ride can be.
Lead the way.
I didn't expect him to say lead the way. I thought he was gonna be like, I gotta go say my prayers and take my vitamins, sister.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exceptionally today.
So a little something about here. Hulk Hogan stated in an interview that he did not actually get to keep the Thunder Scarab boat used on screen, but he did have one built. Hogan said he made the decision when he was heavily medicated following a surgery, brother. So
But he
And
did
it's-
keep the bandana and the sunglasses, brother, but
it's
not the
been
boat.
there forever. And here's the thing, the Scarab boat used in the TV series Razzle Dazzle was purchased and used by Richard Hammond in the Grand Tour special Seaman. This episode aired on Amazon Prime December 13th, 2019. The boat's name was changed to Jizzle Drizzle as a joke by Jeremy Clarkson. So thank you, Jeremy Clarkson.
Wow.
Now, not the Razzle Dazzle game. Yeah, not the Razzle Dazzle game that the Dixie Mafia runs in Louisiana. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about. Sorry to talk about your people, Gene. I apologize. I'm sure Buck knows 2 or 3 people in the Dixie Mafia.
I'm sure he does. He can't speak on it, but
yeah, we're gonna leave that one alone, right?
having a moment of contemplation out here
on the murky waters of.
I'll probably go to WCW as long as they let me win the title in my debut, brother.
As long as me and Flair get the match that Vince never really gave us.
So I was talking earlier about Chris Lemon. He credits his decision to work on this series as the reason casting directors stopped hiring him, effectively ending his acting career. So yeah, poor guy.
Yeah.
He is definitely not the worst part of this show. I'm going to say that. I mean,
no. And he would be known today as a Nepo baby, probably.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I mean, I would have thought, honestly, this would have got him some work because compared to all the other acting, it like makes it stand out. It's like, he's not awful.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe we should use him.
Yeah. What was the guy that was on the other show that kind of he was like he ended up doing the cooking show where he was the judge. He always kind of reminded me of him. Anyway, he was on some shows like this, and I was always like, is this Chris Lemon or is this?
Like, no, it's on TV. It's definitely not Chris Lemon.
He does look like Jack Lemmon so much.
I mean, so much like his facial expressions are all. I was trying to figure out when I was watching some of this before. I was like,
and
he reminds me of somebody so much.
What's funny is this is Hulk Hogan, and as Brett said, his lean old walrus phase.
But he still got that cross on, brother. The one that Andre ripped off in 1987.
Yeah.
Broke his heart.
That mustache is at the perfect length. Brother.
Right, I gotta make sure I play this like I can't see out of my left eye.
I feel like Chris Lemon says brother a lot.
Yeah, he does.
You spend that many hours a day around Hogan, you're going to pick up on it.
Yeah, exactly.
That or Hogan helped write the script, one of the two.
But. Yeah. And once again, we would love to
Hogan
think
could slam Andre here.
He could barely do it in Michigan in 1987, but
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. He pressed him over his head like the Ultimate Warrior, and he was 776 pounds at the time.
Yes. In fact, he's still holding him up there right now.
And he tore. I seen a more recent interview here a couple of weeks ago, and I tore everything in my back, brother. Broke 4 of my ribs, and like it all but crippled him. But
yeah. You ever had the chance to talk to Hogan before, Gene?
I have not. And I would love to do so. My buddy Neil Taylor, the promoter of EPW in Mississippi, they booked Jimmy Hart to come in and do a couple of shows over there. And he went and picked Jimmy up at the airport in Memphis, and they were heading back down to Tupelo. And Jimmy's like, "Hey, baby, today's the Hulkster's birthday. Would you mind getting on a call with me? And we call the Hulkster for his birthday?" Neil's like, "Yeah, I think I would do that." He's like, so they called Hogan, and he goes, it was so surreal because he goes, it was like sitting in on a promo from the 80s because Jimmy's like, "Hey, Hulkster, what's up, baby?" "Hey, what's up, brother?" He said we both talk just like that in real life.
That might be trigger for, hey, Jimmy, we're around somebody that we don't, want to.
Kayfabe, baby.
Yeah, kayfabe, baby.
But I want that to be true so much.
I do too.
I
do
love
too.
to think that every moment of their lives is just an 80s Saturday Night's Main Event promo.
Jamie Dundee has a theory that once Jimmy gets behind doors, he cusses and punches holes in walls. And
what do you think? Like I'll tell you, the rare thing is hearing Macho Man in his real voice.
Yeah. It's a little more like this, and
but I still feel like it's halfway between.
Yeah.
I will say there's more of it there than I really would have thought. Like, I thought it was completely put on, but it's like, no, it's just a little less strained, but it's still
right.
sort of. I mean, it's not like the drastic difference between like Gilbert Godfrey's stage voice.
No, I know. Bobcat Goldthwait.
Yeah. I mean, if Randy would have sounded like Mike Tyson in real life, I would have.
Yeah, seriously. Although Mike Tyson's podcast is one of my favorites, man. He is. The only thing I don't like is when he's like deep throating some blueberries, and it's like he gets that like I've drank too much milk voice. I was like this for a minute, and then he comes out of it.
Man, when you was playing Mike Tyson's Punch-Out as a kid and watching that dude knock people out in the first round, did you ever imagine a world where there would be a cartoon called Mike Tyson's Mysteries and he would be doing a podcast?
No.
And selling legalized weed and like...
No, never.
2023 is such a just strange time.
It is, absolutely. No, this is the Thunder in Paradise was filmed at the very fabulous Don Caesar Hotel in St. Pete Beach, Florida during 1992. So this is the Don Caesar Hotel, everyone.
Gina, it's so funny that you mentioned Punch-Out because I was thinking earlier, I mean, just seen a video on somebody playing Punch-Out on YouTube, and I was thinking, if the WWF could have came up with as cool a game as this for Nintendo, with like Hulk Hogan as the Mike Tyson, it would have been so awesome.
Because WrestleMania on Nintendo was one of the top 5 worst games of all time.
Easily.
I wanted to love it so bad.
And we played it too.
Cool, and I wanted to love it. Oh my gosh, it was so bad. Almost all the NES WWF games, really.
Well, anything that LJN had their hands in for the Nintendo was terrible.
That's true.
It's true.
They just thought they could just slap a sticker on it and make money, basically.
Yeah.
But if they could have came up with a game similar to the formula of Punch-Out,
oh man,
it would have been a game changer
insane.
for sure.
But like Slam Andre, how about that? Like that's a no-brainer. We just created that,
Yeah. Copyrighted, yes.
Mentioning Andre, I'm just going to put this out in the universe so maybe somebody can make it happen. But have you guys heard this Gorilla Monsoon AI podcast that's out there now?
I have heard that gorilla talking, yes. Yeah.
If they could do that with Andre, because I have said all along, I'm like, if Andre the Giant were alive today and could do a podcast with Conrad Thompson, I would listen to that every week, even though it would be unlistenable. Period.
You got Brother Brutai and the Anvil.
And Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
Yeah. It's funny, man.
I gotta think the Anvil might be legit tougher than Brother Brutai.
Yeah. Oh, brother, selling the arm, brother. Oh, where's Greg Valentine? He's got the coke.
Like he's still at work.
Jim did it. Jim did it all.
Jim's the A-to-Z guy, according to Sheik.
He's healing on the crowd. No, but if somebody acted like that in public for real, they would throw him so far out.
What is this? Cyclops! Come on, get a piece of me, baby!
Oh, Natty.
They remade this. Genie would be out there right now with...
Yes. You ever met Jim?
I did. At one of the Greg Price Fan Fest. Me and my wife met him and Jimmy Hart. They got a picture with him. And Jim Neidhart didn't say 2 words. Jimmy Hart was... Jimmy Hart, what you'd expect him to be. But yeah, Jim Neidhart looked like he would rather been anywhere on Earth than at that convention that day.
Right. Kind of the Greg Valentine, though. Go ahead, Jerry.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta think that Anvil might beat Hogan in a real arm wrestling match.
The 24 inches.
No.
Look at the dead eye there.
I mean, is it fair to show the eye in a... Did Bull Hurley do that in Over the Top?
No. But Hogan was always a heel, man. He always was. He always healed, man.
Yeah.
There's so many.
Say, if Bull Hurley would have had pink eye and showed it to Lee, Mike won the whole thing.
Oh my God. Hogan, how did you get pink eye that bad, brother? Somebody farted straight in your...
Gotta be Brother Brutai, right?
That is a rip from Brutai there. Got him with the old pillow fart. Classic.
Hey, Daddy, open your eye real quick. I mean, brother. Sorry.
He's like, the Hammer taught me that one. He got me that one back in the Dream Team days.
fact, it's called the Hammer.
There's something I would like to discuss with you.
Who is it I've heard talk about the Hammer's dad, Johnny Valentine, being able to do the Dairy Queen whip when he took a
It's
dope?
Roddy Piper. Yeah. Dude, Roddy Piper told great stories about Johnny Valentine. Yeah.
I don't even know how you find out you can do that.
I mean, yeah. First of all, to get a constitution that smooth, I mean, what do you got to eat, you know?
And I imagine you'd have to have like a honky tonk man hip shake to make that happen. Which
Exactly.
Johnny Valentine doing a honky tonk man hip shape, and then be like, Roddy, come look at this.
But I mean, you know, like we've talked about this before, but Piper was a worker, complete worker. Even his shoot stories were work, you know?
Yeah.
He was never not working. I love Piper. He's one of my all-time favorites on the Mount Rushmore of Jimmy's pro wrestlers. But at the same time, he was a full-on worker, never not working, you know?
I was a huge fan of his already from when I was a kid up until, but man, we got to meet him a couple of times, and I've never in my life met a nicer guy. Like,
Oh, man.
Roddy Piper always acted like he was just as excited to meet you as you were to meet him. Like,
Oh, dude, that's what makes him, man, you know? I prayed that that's one of the people I've never met, and I'm just like, man, I needed to have met him, but... You know, he was on a Crossfire show up in Nashville, and I was begging to work that thing. I was like, I'll put up the ring. I don't care. I don't have to even work the show. Just let me work. And Aaron was like, well, you know, Marcus doesn't really like managers. And I'm like, Aaron, I don't need to manage. You know, somebody needs to help put up the ring. They're not going to mind. Just didn't work out.
I hate it, man. Yeah, because I wish everybody who's a wrestling fan or a fan of his could have got to meet him, because I was, you know, there's not many people that we've met, because between going to conventions and working shows, I've met most of the people I wanted to meet in wrestling.
Yeah.
And there's not been but just a couple of people that were ever disappointing, and we were so excited about meeting Piper that first time. I mean, I was just praying in line. I'm like, I hope he's cool. Like, I don't want this to ruin my fandom of him after all these years. And oh my gosh, he couldn't have been any nicer. So when we went to the ROH show in Nashville and he was there, it was like, I got a couple of things I could get signed. Let's go meet him again. And it was awesome the second time as it was the first time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
That's awesome. Sometimes they say don't meet your heroes, but...
I've been lucky, man, because like there's horror stories from people meeting Vader, saying he's just the worst guy in the world, but like he couldn't have been any nicer to me and my wife. Just super, super cool. And I was a huge Vader fan as well, so I was really to the point that I almost didn't want to meet him just because I was afraid I was going to hate him after that. But he was super nice to us, and then there was people that were farther back in the same line that I saw later that day, like, man, Vader was such a prick. And I'm like, it's got to be just how you approach him, I think.
It's got to be, yeah. So while Hogan's taking this journey on his bike to get some thoughts here, some of the appearances on the series included Jimmy Hart, of course, as Jammin' Jimmy. Ed Leslie played Brutus or the Beast. Jim Neidhart played a character named Norman Kowalski. We just saw that. Now, of course, Jorge Gonzalez, we all know him as who?
Giant Gonzalez or Elegante.
Yeah, right. Terremoto Mortador. Ray Hernandez, of course, good old-fashioned Hercules Hernandez, played Herc. Fred Ottman played... Yeah, exactly. Fred Ottman played Yusuf. Terry Funk played Amarillo Dokes. And Steve Kern played a character named Levitt. And Steve Borden played Hammerhead. So hopefully, if the listeners enjoy this, we watch more Thunder in Paradise, or maybe we move it to a different show for our next watch along with Gene. We will keep it going and hopefully see some of those guys.
I can't let it just go by that we just saw Hulk Hogan wearing a pair of assless chaps that said "bad to the bone" across the back of them.
I know. You're right.
Wow. That's not something I ever thought I would see. I don't remember that from the original watching of the series. But
yeah.
That bullet would have killed me. Now
he's putting in game right now.
Well, everyone has a dream that'll never come true.
He's like, I'm Jack Lemmon's son.
Yeah, have you heard of me?
I look kind of like a young Jack Lemmon, they say.
She's like, oh yeah, that's hot.
Yeah, seriously.
She's like, that's what I want in my mind when that's going down.
A young Jack Lemmon. It's me.
Have you seen Grumpy Old Men?
Have you seen that, baby? Come on, I want to lay you.
I want to go to Italy.
She's like, that's weird. That's how I keep from getting off too fast, is I think of Jack Lemmon the whole time.
Like Michelangelo's David.
Not exactly appropriate, but I didn't cuss, so...
No, fully appropriate. We love it. Oh my God.
Closing your eyes.
Yeah.
Smooth, cool texture. That's rough.
Oh, it's great.
I told you it was stupid.
No.
Yeah, stupid like this whole storyline sometimes.
Yeah.
Listen, if you ever need a model, I can.
Well, what's yours?
No, I mean, and we're trashing it here a little bit and everything like that, but I mean, it's so I can't help but like it. I mean, like it can be corny or whatever, but it's still
Yeah, that nostalgia
fun
kicks
watch.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's very 90s. Like, if somebody's like, you know, some young person's like, well, what was it like in the 90s? Like, well, watch Thunder in Paradise. That's a pretty good representation.
Yeah.
Just watch Thunder in Paradise and Baywatch, and that's the 90s.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's why I like the movie Gremlins too, is because Hogan stands up in the movie theater and, you know, there's such, you know, I was even thinking about like how people talk about Bobby the Brain Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon and their tag team together when they were, you know, on the announce booth or when they were in the announce booth. But I tell you what, man, I get as much feels when I hear Vince and Jesse together. So, yeah. I just listened to something the other night, and it was just so good to hear them together. It gave me just, like, feels, man.
Oh, it does. Like,
Take the ring.
you get back and watch some of that stuff, and just like you say, just the sound of their voice just brings back that nostalgia, that, you know, the memories of your childhood and everything. And
Yeah.
Don't push it.
look at Denim Dan out here walking around the beach in freaking just a full denim outfit and a
The
snakeskin
sleeveless
belt.
Canadian tuxedo.
What are you, the Blue Jean Committee?
While it is very 90s, his outfit is very 70s or 80s.
Yes.
I don't even know what that qualifies as, but
Yes.
Can we get a denim bandana for him to wear on top?
we didn't denim eye patch to cover that pink eye back up.
Oh god.
I know it helped out in the encounter in the arm wrestling match, but here,
Yes.
not so much. Well, my goodness, that'd get him canceled these days.
Yeah, seriously.
She's tapping out, man.
Just tap it, bro. Maybe Hogan should have used that than the atomic leg drop. The same.
I learned this one from Randy and Liz. Sorry about stuck your head in that fan. That was my first take. They had to shut things down.
They actually had to refilm all the scenes with the original actors
Who is
out.
that? On CD again in the right corner there?
Yeah.
I think it looked like Scott Norton.
It kind of did,
but
yeah. Or a little. Yeah, it's huge.
That's gonna be my dad. This is what I've always wanted.
No, is that Hercules?
It is Hercules, I think.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's her, yeah.
Okay.
I always love me some Hercules, man. Again, it's kind of like the Ted Arcidi thing. It's like,
Again, YouTube listeners, he only wore that LJN outfit a few times.
oh my God.
WrestleMania 2 being a prominent example of it. Oh, there he is.
Elegante.
I can only
Yeah.
assume that he has an airbrushed bodysuit underneath the clothes he's wearing right now.
Yeah, that's the box he carries around for his penis right there.
All right, Gene, are you an Elegante or a Giant Gonzalez guy?
Good Lord, that's a loaded question. I guess I'm gonna have to go Elegante. I just didn't like how he manhandled and mistreated the Undertaker when he made his debut.
Well, we noticed he wasn't on your Mount Rushmore, so you know we just had to clarify. So
Well, you didn't give me 6. If it had been 6, I'd have been like, well, it's a tie between Giant Gonzalez and Elegante. After that,
I think this
classic he had with Sid Vicious at Super Brawl 1.
Now this
Oh my
dude, he's got to have worked somewhere before, because if you watching his guy's character, he was definitely like, the Western States Heavyweight Championship or something at one time,
I feel like we've changed the channel to In the Heat of the Night all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I expect Carol O'Connor to come walking in. Bubba, what are we doing? Well, Chief Hulkster's got the pink eye.
Yeah, sorry.
The last place they're gonna look for us is at the
Dark Journey making an appearance here.
Won't take long. Just make sure we keep all the men on the ship.
Finally found her.
poor
Why is this little girl so fascinating?
Dick Slater beat the shit out of Sting for her, but now
But that probably from what everything I've heard helped Sting probably become a better professional wrestler, a better person probably.
And they showed us a necklace.
oh yeah, I talked to Tony Falk recently, and Tony's been everywhere, and he wasn't there for that, nor was he there for the other times we talked about. But he missed the Steve Kern Coco Beware beating and the Dick Slater Sting fight. So have you really been everywhere, Tony?
Always not there is what it is.
Yeah,
It looks like the weigh-in sister from In Living Color.
it does.
And then we will find out.
Beautiful Don Caesar Hotel once again. Really?
What's the odds that hotel
Oh,
is
I
haunted?
thought that was Vince McMahon's Florida condo there.
Yeah, seriously.
Look at this. Oh my gosh.
Now I could grow that haircut right now. Why does Hogan make it look like it works? But if I had that, I'm like cooking up something that I shouldn't be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan and Terry Bradshaw, only people that can make the skull at work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brother, relax.
Listen, he just used all the brothers for that
I'm
scene.
telling you.
I know.
Should I be wearing sunglasses? A patch? I think my eyes getting better.
That's what he thinks Hogan understands.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. Now listen, did you take care of business?
As soon as we tie the knot.
He's like, hey, we're out in the sun here. Why are you not wearing the bandana? Like, you're
How about community property?
Yeah.
blinded me.
Property. Spence.
Yeah, the bandana doesn't.
You were married, everything you own becomes half.
It's like we were talking the other day on the Wolfie D podcast. We were talking about how Macho Man, if we were to wear those outfits that he wore later on in his career on the street, people would think we were insane. But Macho Man wears it, and it looks like a pair of slacks and a polo shirt. It's
Oh
just
yeah, just typical attire.
yeah, exactly.
One of the greatest burns I've ever heard on any of those Comedy Central roasts is when Greg Giraldo said, Hulk Hogan, you can't figure out why your wife left you. Maybe it's because you're a 60-year-old man that walks around dressed like a Hooters waitress.
Exactly.
And I was like, yeah, I mean, this dude used to wear, like, just out and about, he would have on, like, those red tights and those yellow cowboy boots and a Hulkster shirt and a big weight belt. Like,
Yeah.
you imagine him and Savage just going out together on the town dressed.
Yeah.
I mean,
Can you imagine if somebody woke up from a nap and saw that? They're like, oh, God,
It's even worse luck.
where are we now? So what's funny is the creator of the show, Doug Schwartz, said in an interview that Hogan would often spend his Friday nights at Hooters. So after that week's episode had concluded filming, Thunder in Paradise was one of the first acting gigs of Heidi Mark, who started out as a Hooters girl prior to her acting career. And Schwartz himself actually owned a Hooters restaurant along with his wife. So anyway, Hooters had a big part in Thunder in Paradise, apparently, much like Cheap Heat TV Podcast Network has for this commercial-free viewing of Thunder in Paradise.
meanwhile, people are like, damn you, Cheap Heat TV, I want to go to the bathroom right now. There's no commercial.
But starting here and now, you better use your brain.
We need a prenuptial agreement.
Hit pause, brother.
And if he proves this is a marriage of anything other than true love and devotion, quote unquote, we both lose everything.
I keep what's mine. You keep
So
what's
you
yours.
better make this convincing.
Hogan, he's got the
We have a long
the
ride
body
ahead.
of a
Both
giant, the
Don't blow it.
face of an Italian, and the forehead of an Aborigine.
I love that episode. Y'all ever watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Yeah, oh yeah.
The episode where they're watching the Hulk Hogan match and Dennis says he has the skin of a hot dog, and
yes,
I can't remember what he says about his hair, but
yeah,
nailed it.
Yeah, it does. It's like the hot dog at 7-Eleven that's been there just a bit too long, but not long enough for you to want to eat it. You know,
that's the tale of a good Hulk Hogan action figure. If it's got the hot dog colored skin,
so true. Now this guy.
This guy looks like he should be playing Vince McMahon on Young Rock or something.
I know, seriously.
Oh man.
Man, okay, so we talked about it. Of course, PG-13 was not cast in the Memphis scenes, which they should have been. Who would you cast as PG-13 on the Young Rock?
Oh, I'm so out of touch with actors these days.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I'm sure it would probably just be a couple of those Memphis guys. That, you know,
yeah.
Brandon Grimes, that's an obscure name for people to look up.
Throw him in that Cena gear. And
one of my proudest tweets, since we're talking about Young Rock, I'll put it over. I come across a picture of Brock Anderson one day.
Yeah.
And I tweeted it, and I said, Brock Anderson looks like the guy who would play Arn Anderson on Young Rock.
Yes.
His mom came back and liked it and retweeted it.
Hey, dude, that's amazing.
That's awesome.
He does look like that, though, you know?
He really does.
He doesn't have the baloney patch yet, but maybe soon. So look how windy this is. It's like the windiest day ever. But it has no part of the storyline whatsoever. It's just hammering windy.
It's like I'm wearing my Rip bandana for good luck.
It's like Myrtle Beach in September. It's like... Now, you're probably a Gulf Shores man, I would assume, Gene, but have you ever been to the lovely Myrtle Beach?
I have not.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, and this is sad to even say, I haven't been to the beach since my senior trip in Panama City in 1995 when I graduated high school. That's crazy to say, but...
Well, it is what it is. What part of Alabama are you from, brother?
Well, I'm originally from Aberdeen, Mississippi, over between.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
Yeah. But I've lived in. Well, that's a fair question. I've lived in Alabama for the last 22 years.
Yeah.
And I've lived all over. Right now, I'm currently living in Gadsden, Alabama. But at one point, I lived in Huntsville. Lived in Muscle Shoals for a while.
Oh yeah, love
Albertville. But my wife is originally from the Gadsden area, so we've ended up back down here.
Well, send me some white barbecue sauce when you can, man.
All right, we'll get on that. Look at Brutus. I mean,
just freaking out of it. Just pilled out of his mind right
out of his mind. He's wearing a Hawaiian shirt. Jimmy's got his gimmick jacket on from Rhythm and Blues.
He's totally mouth breathing right now too.
How much?
Go ahead, Jim.
How much money did Brutus make just for being good friends with Hogan?
Oh, God, man,
it's a career, dude.
I'll say I'm sure the house he's living in right now was paid for by. Is that pills he's handing? Oh, no.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, oh, that's not
the weed, brother. That's later.
Is Captain Lou sitting on the groom side, or is that somebody else?
I hope so.
But anyway, Jimmy Hart is definitely wearing the Rhythm and Blues jacket. He's like, I got it, baby. I got it on. I got it on.
Husband and wife.
So I don't throw nothing out, baby.
Have you ever talked to Randy Hales about Jimmy Hart? He does not like him, by the way, at all.
Really?
Thinks he's a scum and just absolutely just not a good person. But you know what? There might be something there that we don't know about. I just can't see Jimmy as a bad guy, you know, but...
Yeah, that's surprising because I've never really heard anything bad about Jimmy Hart. But
me either. Yeah,
I'm sure he has a lot more insight than I do. But
yeah, who knows? Jimmy's a worker, you know, so maybe something there. But Randy can.
You talk about somebody that's. I mean, he's had success of his own accord, but you know, talking about somebody that's rode Hulk Hogan's coattails to the wheels that fell off. You know, Jimmy Hart been right there for every step of the way.
He's a genius, man, on that level.
Yeah.
And God bless him for it, man, because I mean, honestly, once managers died, now I was a manager for a little bit in Nashville. I don't know if you knew that, Gene, but I did a little managing up there. That's how I got to meet all the people I did. And long story short, Managey was dead then. And, you know, Jimmy was like, I got to figure something out, baby.
I got to keep this wagon hitched. So here's something I've never understood. Like, okay, I understand Jimmy Hart, how he got in the inner circle with Hogan. He was his manager, you know, both, you know, on screen and for a shoot. Brutus was his best friend / alleged cousin at times, it's been said, which I think that's about as legit as the Andersons and Flair. Right. But how does Brian Knobbs end up in the mix? That's what I want to know.
God, I don't have a clue, dude. Like, I mean, the only thing I can think of, the only thing I can think of is not good. So,
and it's the only real, I mean,
logical.
They just don't seem like guys who would run in the same circles, you know.
No. I mean, like, he's not a gym dude at all, you know.
No.
Maybe
that's putting it mildly.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, the big Goldberg spear.
Love it. That was well executed right there.
Should Hogan be wearing white at his wedding?
I'm wondering if that's a telltale sign he's fixing to juice here in a minute.
Yeah. Now, coming up really soon, this is where the first episode technically ends. This is coming up soon, but...
Elegante will take 27 minutes to get that.
Once Elegante finally unfolded himself and got out of that car.
But honestly, if he takes 2 steps, he's there, you know, but... Look at Hogan.
Too quick, brother.
What's funny is Hogan's feet are dangling so precariously there.
Yeah.
Where's Brew at? Brew needs to be there to help.
Seriously, Brew, where you at? Poor brother Brew.
He's still trying to pick up the girl at the bar. Oh. Now this looks just like what you would see in a match with these two.
Totally.
He's going to shoot him into that thing over there and give him a big boot.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, if I ever saw a match between those two, it would be better if there were surfboards and stuff like that they could use.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I always wondered how that match never happened, and I recently read somebody has like screenshots that they tried that match out in a couple of house shows, and it was so abysmal, they just like, nah, we're just not going to do that. And went with the Yokozuna stuff instead.
Yeah.
You know what might have been a rougher match is, and it may have happened, but Ultimate Warrior versus...
Oh my gosh, can you imagine?
Oh.
Look, Elegante. Poor guy.
I think so.
Let me put this
He's
limo
still
back
not,
on.
Yeah.
Wearing it like a jacket. That's Andre's other son, brother.
I wish they'd grabbed the boomerang-like thing off the back of the limo and...
Yeah, see Crocodile Dundee there.
Crocodile Dundee style.
So the necklace is a puzzle of some sort, but that still doesn't explain why those awful people wanted it so badly.
Yeah.
Puzzle, maybe we'll find out.
Here we go. We're playing a little.
So they managed to get all those up out of the sand and the beach down there.
Seriously, not missing a one.
That's impressive.
Now they're using them for categories or something.
Darling, it's late. We really should go.
She beats Hogan. He's going to fling them all off on the floor.
He's like, that doesn't work for me, brother.
That don't work for me, brother. I'm not playing anymore.
You got Park Place last time.
Flair would have put me over.
It's in my contract. I have to go over.
Yeah, seriously. Wow. Brew's got a favored nations contract.
Maybe it's happy face. The eyes and the mouth.
Smoking a blunt.
It did look like it.
Brutus reached in the other pocket after the wedding and got him this.
Little of the wacky tobacco.
He got his Navy SEAL hat from Jesse Ventura.
Jesse cusses every time he sees this.
Yeah, yeah.
He's like, I knew I shouldn't let him borrow that hat.
That's stolen valor, McMahon.
Yeah, stolen valor. The Gulf of Tonkin.
There's just Hooters shorts he's got on.
Yeah. I'm
No need for
Frogman.
Here they are.
I sued Frogman LeBlanc.
That's Bruin Kelly.
Dude, Karrion Kross, or whatever you want to call him, he does a killer Jesse Ventura
He
impersonation.
does.
He needs
I've
to
seen
do that
video. It's amazing.
right now in the show, you know, like just be the new Jesse.
Karrion Ventura.
Yeah.
She's a pistol, isn't she?
That's my dad, brother.
T3.
Gorilla. Yeah.
That is the most entertainment I've gotten out of Karrion Kross was that one video I saw of him doing that impression.
Legitimately, he needs to figure something out for sure.
The important thing is he was also.
I mean, the thing is, he's got the hot wife, right? That's kind of his draw.
I mean, I think the days of just having the hot blonde with you are past. Like you got to bring a little more to the table these days.
Right.
Maybe I'm wrong.
The booty.
Yeah, and they all, I mean, also, I'm not like defending him or anything, but he's also got to go over a good amount too. I mean, like if you're gonna have him as a legit winner, he's got to go over something too.
Yeah.
Maybe Gimpy stashed his loot on one of these
Yeah, it was all downhill after they squashed him with Jeff Hardy. I think it lost people. A lot of people lost a lot of faith in him. I mean, Jeff Hardy is Jeff Hardy, but he wasn't that Jeff Hardy at the time when they had him just come out there and
Right.
Okay, they'll glass bottom boat here, host. Brutus, what are you doing, brother?
Hey, Ricky, move over. Jimmy's doing something on the table. What he's gonna do? He's gonna put her on the table. That's my joke about Robert Gibson. That's my joke about his promos. We're gonna get in the ring. Go do leapfrog, tackle, drop down, lock up. Yeah. Anyway, that he just tells you what he's going to do to the degree. Then we're going to double drop kick. Then we're going to pin it. 1, 2, 3. That's how we win. I'm like, all right, Robert, that's a great promo. You just told us what y'all went over in the match.
You just described every match y'all had since 1985. Cool, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, I started to say Jimmy Valiant instead of Brutus on the table, but I was afraid that might be too obscure a reference for some of the listeners. So
No, let's bring the obscure team brought here, brother.
Come on.
Jimmy Valiant.
Oh man, Jimmy is a hoot, man. I've met Jimmy several times. He's kind of like Jimmy Hart in a sense, where he's like, "Love you, brother. Love you, brother. Oh yeah, I love you, brother." And you'll go by and be like, I saw a guy one time who's like, "Hey, Jimmy, remember me? I worked with you on this show back in '94 or whatever." And he's like, "Oh yeah, baby, love you, brother. You're the best." And the guy leaves. And he's like, "Who was that?"
I got to wrestle Jimmy a few times.
Oh
and
man!
At the time I wrestled him, I was completely clean shaven. I was 20 years younger, and he thought that every time we seen each other, he thought I was Bo James.
Oh gosh!
I look nothing like Bo James then. I'd like to think I look nothing like Bo James now, but every time, "Oh, baby, how you doing? How you doing, baby?" And then we'd be in the ring, and he'd be like, "Come on, Bo, come on, do it, baby, do it." And I'm like, of course, you had that one match he worked by that point. This was in 2000, 2001, and then the third match was like 2002. He had that one match he would do with those set spots, the comedy spots.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The whole time he's there, Bo, baby, Bo. I didn't have the heart to tell him I wasn't Bo.
Right. You're just like, "Love you, handsome."
Yep. And so I'm sure the next time he actually saw Bo James, "Hey, baby, you remember we wrestled that match down in Tupelo?" And he's just like,
Yes.
Yeah.
I was running a Run Right gimmick. King of Kingsport. It's like, that is not a lot. If you've ever been to Kingsport, Tennessee, that's our area. That's where we're from, is Bo James territory. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So.
We went to a Chikara show in Kingsport many years ago, probably 10 years ago, and that's my only trip to Kingsport.
We saw all the great stuff there, man. We were either in a local high school in Council, Virginia, watching old school, like an outlaw show that Jimmy Valiant and Haku wrestled on, and Rock and Roll Express wrestled the Mod Squad on. And we're down there, and we sneak down near the ring at the end of the match, and Haku comes out of the ring.
I get slimed.
She gets pushed into his chest and like completely slimes him on his arm and everything. And he just had to like absorb that into his body. But other than that, don't ever mess with Jared. He will whip your ass.
I was about to say, if you absorbed in the power of Haku, then
yeah,
I will not say a cross word to you, bud.
So, and then we saw Smoky Mountain there, but then we saw stuff in Bristol too. We saw some old WCW Saturday Night episodes in Johnson City and stuff. But Kingsport is kind of the redheaded stepchild of the Tri-Cities. So.
That is so weird. Like, we rode out there just to see it, like, out in Bristol. It's like you're going, there's nothing, and you go over a hill, and out in the middle of nowhere, there's this huge
racetrack
out
flats.
there.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Wow.
Like, let me pick you up here.
There it is. Where is it? Right there. There's the island.
Are you sure that's the boat? Yeah, it says Thunder down the side of it.
There's no. Pretty positive. Unless it's owned by T. Hunter.
Oh, my mistake. It is owned by T. Hunter.
Holster's like, yeah, I'm getting in my bicep work today.
He's like, I've been off the cycle for a while. I don't know if I can.
Yeah.
Say. As easy as it used to be, brother.
I can't tell what this guy's character is, man. He's kind of like a suave guy, but he's also trying to be like a bit of a loose cannon too. You know, he's
like a shorter, not as ripped Dolph Lundgren or something.
Yeah.
Sure. I saw that beret and really hoped we were having a Corporal Kirshner cameo there.
Oh man, dude, he just rolls out of the jungle there. Hey, brothers. Sergeant Slaughter's off doing G.I. Joe. Will I do?
You'll have
Not
to.
Really.
It's like 86.
Yeah.
Enough of the love spats, please. I tell you what, Megan, join me on the rock over there for high tea.
Thank you very much.
Oh, gosh. She's just wearing the worst outfit to wear down in Florida, too, you know?
No kidding.
Oh, God.
Skeeters have eat her up.
I gotta get over here and
let
drop
the
bish off, if you know what I mean.
let the thermos loose.
She's like, hey.
Speaking of thermos,
okay.
It's just straight vodka. Hulkster. This is called the Jimmy Snuka.
Snuka taught me this one. He taught me two things. He taught me how to climb a palm tree and
how to kill a woman.
Let's see, how to quiet down a woman when she gets too sassy.
How to keep her from being sass. Oh man.
You know, speaking of Snuka, like he was like one of my favorites when I was young, but then,
dude, yeah.
But then everything since then, like with the Dark Side of the Ring and everything, it's like, ooh,
yeah.
Yeah. Seriously, it's sad, man.
You distance yourself a little bit. It's like
the general consensus too is that, you know, it's the truth. So he you know.
Oh yeah, I mean, like it's
like who else when they were a child? How many of us as a child knew they had an action figure of a legit murderer in their
murderer? Seriously, exactly. The Hulkster, that Rock, it's the Rock, y'all. The Rock made the surprise.
I was working with the Rock years ago, brother.
I don't mean Don Baracco either.
Megan the Lake.
Is it just me, or did Don Baracco at one point just get all super jacked, but then like he was kind of fat at first, and then, or kind of, I don't want to say fat, but he was not like jacked.
No, not at all jacked.
Just a big dude, and then he turned into like Scott Steiner or
He
something.
got ripped for like 6 months, and then he disappeared, and then he turned up back in UWF like twice as big as he was initially, and then WWE. Because I'm kind of ahead of the podcast right now, editing the commercials out of those episodes and putting them on YouTube, and I came across Don Morocco's UWF debut, and I was like, boy, this ain't the same guy who was at Survivor Series 87.
Yeah. Well, you know, speaking of dropping a cute chick in a cave, talk about your YouTube channel a little bit.
Great segue. So yeah, we've got a Cheapy TV YouTube channel, which of course is home to all our different podcasts and other random content we've been putting on there, like Gene's Wrestling Collection, where I've been showing
love that
ridiculous wrestling collection, and we had a channel with a few thousand subscribers, and it abruptly got squashed. So we're trying to build it back up. I also put old school wrestling content as much as I can find that isn't going to get us
taken
shut
down.
Shut down again. But there's new content on there literally every single day. So if you would go and subscribe, it sure would be appreciated. It's youtube.com/@GPTV.
You're not afraid of snakes?
Definitely, y'all go out there and do that, because listen, they put up some amazing stuff. They just put up one of my favorite matches ever, which is the Rock and Roll Express versus the British Bulldogs. I love that you have that, and there's just so much great stuff that y'all put up there of your own stuff too, you know. So, and you check out their shows for, you know, we'll let you put yourself over at the end here, but you know, you have your shows, your live shows, you have your collections, dude. The collection, we love that. We're gonna kind of rip that off in the future. Don't be sad.
Please do, because I enjoy getting to see other people's collections, and I seek those out, and that's what made me start doing it. Is I thought, well, you know, I like looking at people's collections. Maybe somebody will be interested in seeing mine. That's at least it'll serve some purpose having all this, because it's not like everybody's going to come parade through my house and see it. So
right.
But I agree with you. It's like I've got all this stuff. It's like, what do I do with some of it?
So we've found the treasure of Long John Silver here.
Are they romancing the stone here?
Yeah, maybe.
No.
Romancing the Stone.
I love that movie, dude.
It's an underrated movie for sure.
Very good reference.
Yeah.
This is almost as exciting as that Geraldo episode where he went in the vault.
Now that's Bill Dundee's knife he borrowed that he's gonna stick Wolfie D with.
I always wanted to ask Wolfie, like, did he say that's not a knife, this is a knife, right?
And that's what I told him to say. Yeah, I was like, please tell me you said that's not a knife. He's, you know, the Scottish Australian Bill Dundee there, you know.
Oh my gosh, I have listened in on so many hilarious interactions being in dressing rooms with Bill Dundee over the years.
Yeah,
unintentional as some of them may have been. But
how many times have you heard they're the shits and they're killing the business?
Every time I was ever in a dressing room, he would go poke his head out the door and, damn it, they're killing the business. This is the shits. Have you ever seen a match you liked, Bill?
You know, reverse that to Tracy Smothers one time. He said, well, if they riot, I believe we can take them. Millersville was a little down when we were working Saw, and it was kind of in a middle point there. TJ had just passed away, and anyway, Tracy was coming in and helping out, and he said that. It was so funny. I was just awesome. Like,
I love Tracy Smothers.
He's the greatest, man.
I got the opportunity to do commentary all night on a deathmatch show with Tracy Smothers.
Holy
favorite
cow.
Things that ever happened in the business. And of
Did
course,
you record that?
Matches, oh yeah, it's out there.
Oh my God, I got to see that.
In death matches, you know, there's all that prep, like afterwards, they got to clean up and set up, between matches, so there's 15, 20 minutes of downtime between every match. So after every match, we're sitting there, and I'm getting asked Tracy questions and hear stories from Smoky Mountain, ECW, WCW, and everything. It was one of my favorite nights ever in wrestling. Just get to sit there and just talk with Tracy as a, captive audience while we had to wait for all the setup for that stuff. And it was hilarious, some of the lines he got in on the commentary through the night.
Yeah, that's amazing.
They have unveiled the treasure of Mr. T here, all that costume. They just put it up.
You
Just imagine if I'd got slimed by Tracy Smothers at that show too. Tracy Smothers and Haku. I mean, you definitely wouldn't want to mess with me then.
Not a bit.
I said slowly.
Although I know Tracy was tough, you never felt that with him unless you were in a bad way with him. You know, he was always one of the best.
There you go. Watch those
You know, it's funny you brought up Mr. T. They say prior to its cancellation, Hulk Hogan thought about rebooting the show under a new title called Thunder Force with himself, Sting, Mr. T, and a random female martial artist as the main cast. Of course, that never came to light, so...
That's a shame.
I know. Thank God for small favors. Now, The Rock making his appearance again. Come on, Dwayne. Don't do it.
Come on, Dewey. Let's keep it.
Yeah, Dewey.
I can't wait to see this on Young Rock when they
I know, exactly.
appearance on Thunder in Paradise.
Well, he did spend a lot of time in Miami, right? So
He'll be in that cave, won't he? Young Rock will be in that cave with him.
Yep. Yeah, because he's so accurate with everything. It's exactly as it.
Exactly.
Like I think I have to explain every time we watch the show with my family. I'm like, that's probably not real. It's like, it probably didn't happen.
Yeah.
Trust me.
I was like, I'd have to look it up to tell you for sure, but
It's like my wife was like, that doesn't look a thing like Andre the Giant. I'm like, yeah, but who would? You know, who does?
Yeah,
I think
of all the people on there, I'll give them a big pass on Andre. But
yeah, me
some
too.
Of the other ones, oh my goodness.
Oh, dude, trust me.
I think Andre might be one of the best that they do. I mean, like as far as
honestly.
doing what you can do. I mean, like.
But then, like, Hogan was at The Rock's wedding, and just such weird stuff. Like, why? No, like,
yeah, exactly. The Jerry Lawler. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, Jerry Lawler's the commentator for Memphis Wrestling in the '80s.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one that really got me, Bam Bam Bigelow was actually a pretty good look.
Yeah, they did pretty good with him.
But just all those wrestlers being in Hawaii, all the time, I'm like, I don't think so.
Have you ever been to Hawaii? It's a trip to get there for sure. So, you know, it's not like the easiest thing to get to Hawaii, and then you're there and
Downtown Bruno's just hanging out down there all the time.
Cooking eggs while he's taking a dump. I just don't buy that. Is that sulfur or the eggs? Or the eggs making a reappearance? What is it? That guy just yelled at the boat. He kind of sounds like Sid a little bit, I've realized.
Yeah.
We're live, pal.
That's what I was saying. I'm waiting for it.
Put a line on it, and we're going to tow it out of here.
I like at the end of we just talked about this, the Royal Rumble, where he says, "I'll kill you" to Hogan. And they caught it just on camera as he said it.
I'll kill you!
Hogan. He was like, is this it? Yeah, seriously. I thought
Hogan's down to his underwear, shaking his hand in a
pitch black Mountain Dew match here.
Spence finds his way out.
Again, we're not sponsored by Pitch Black Mountain Dew, but if they want to. The Cheap Heat TV Podcast Network are once again our sponsors for this commercial-free viewing.
It's a shame you're not, because the rumor is they were paid $1 million for that sponsorship.
I've heard that.
I was hoping
your money's worth. Good God.
Yeah, I was hoping the loser had to drink Pitch Black Mountain Dew. just a hot as piss one too. You know?
I might have got invested in that. Like, all right, I want to see how this plays out.
And you know what's sad is I actually like LA Knight, man. You know, Eli Drake wasn't that great. I didn't love Eli Drake, of course, you know, but I like how they're doing LA Knight, and he's kind of halfway getting over, but I don't know. I almost felt like they were going to kill him off now. So
I mean, that's the way that ended, even though Uncle Howdy completely missed him by a mile. With that.
Do you think that was meant to be?
I don't know. But it was terrible.
It was definitely terrible. Oh my God.
Especially when, like, it didn't look as bad on the pay-per-view as all the cell phone footage that was in the audience that people were sharing. And you could really see that he was, like, 4 foot away from him.
And then Eli or LA rolls over on top of him.
Yeah, I got you, brother. But I don't know. Like, I've got a couple of friends that think Eli Drake just hung the damn moon and has always just been like super on his side. I have always, like, back to his TNA days, he felt like a guy to me that couldn't decide if he wanted to be The Rock or Stone Cold and was just ripping off the mannerisms and cadence of both of them. And I've never been able to get past it. I've just never been able to give a shit about the guy just because I'm like, every time I see him and the way he walks to the ring and his promos, I'm just like, oh, pick one. Be The Rock or Austin. Quit being both. That's
Stone Cold Rock Austin. Come on.
Yeah.
You know, but he also
be a Tom Cruise here holding his breath.
Yeah, seriously. Hogan's actually Aquaman. Jason Momoa, brother.
No, that's another call he missed.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to be Aquaman.
Instead, that Roman Reigns looking guy got it. I don't acknowledge him, though. Still got his gold chain on. Got his cross on down there swimming around.
Yeah. Go with God, brother. Oh, he's got enough air in his lungs to turn back.
It's from all that training, saying his prayers, and taking his vitamins, brother.
Seriously. Jared, you're a pharmacist. What kind of vitamin helps you breathe underwater?
You're going to need some strong vitamins.
Oxygen tanks are for jobbers, dude.
Yeah.
It just makes you forget that you need to breathe, probably.
Yeah. Hulkster's lost, brother. Hulkster's lost.
Centrum Silver just ain't going to give you that, I don't think.
Oh, we need a real American playing when he come out through that water right then. Just to really
Yes.
So speaking of another missed opportunity, when Hogan was saying, say your prayers and take your vitamins, why didn't they put out a Hogan vitamin for kids?
Seriously. Yeah.
That was a huge missed opportunity.
I mean, they had Horseman vitamins.
Exactly. That's what, like when you look back and think that the 4 Horsemen had vitamins and Hulk Hogan didn't, you're just like, how did that even happen? Like,
seriously.
I mean, I'm sure that would have got lumped into Vince's steroid trial. Like, what was in those Hulk Hogan vitamins, Vince?
Yeah.
They were just Flintstones cut a different way, brother. It's fine.
Why are all these little Hulkamaniacs ripped out there in the front row all of a sudden?
All right, this is an awkward hot tub scene here.
We're all going down at once, if you know what I mean, brother.
Yeah, everybody. I usually don't do 2 guys and a girl, but we'll party.
Oh my God. I was thinking of something, but I'm not going to say it.
Except for with Brutus, brother.
Yeah.
Liz kept her mouth shut, so it was fine.
I see the lust in your eyes.
That's why you made that rap album about me, brother.
Yeah. Now, have you ever been down on the Tennessee River and used this air in a bag trick?
I definitely will next time I am.
Oh, man.
I mean, I know we've been talking during it and everything, and I haven't 100% been invested in the story, but, like, I feel like, I mean, I know this is the second episode, but, I mean, I feel like this isn't even the same show we were watching 30 minutes ago.
It isn't, actually. I switched it.
Okay, well, that makes a lot more sense now, man. I feel
this is Thunder in Atlantis now.
Yes. It's another show that somehow managed to cast Hulk Hogan and Chris Lemon.
That poor bastard Chris Lemon.
Little did he know right now this was the high point of his acting career. It wasn't going to get any better than this.
Yeah, sadly. Oh, she passes out. Now, when you pass out, do you stop breathing? Because if she's continuing to breathe,
and she's drowning,
she'll be breathing in water.
She's going to die. Yeah. Does anyone know that?
No, if you pass out, as long as you're not dead, you're going to be still breathing.
Yeah.
Involuntarily.
Right.
Yeah, people would die every time they passed out if that was.
Okay, so there you go. Thank you, Gene. Thank you, Jared.
I'm not an authorized doctor or medical, but I'm just basing that on purely
logic.
Yeah, logic and just guesswork here.
Well, apparently she just halfway passed out.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was horrible. Never in a threesome with you two again.
I can't give you any support until I turn on the engines.
We'll have to make do.
I would rather be Jack Lemon than Chris Lemon.
That's who I use, brother. That's who I use. Slow the roll.
Do me a favor, will ya? Bring Kelly back too, because I'd like a shot at my own honeymoon. Or
Yeah, seriously. I'm tired of just two dudes and a girl.
Oh, Lord.
I thought he was going to start shaving.
I'm fixing to say, oh, what a rush here in a minute once I finish painting my face.
Yeah, Sting taught me this, y'all.
Or is he going to Commando Arnold?
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
There we go.
So...
This is going to be my face paint for War Games in a few minutes.
He spent a good hour and a half doing that. It's like, we're in a hurry, brother. Let me...
It really does look like
Just
the War
snap it.
Games paint.
It does. It's exactly what that looks like.
I wish Mattel would make some that War Games set of those guys painted like that. It'd be pretty cool.
And it's not out of the question because, you know, they did the Bash at the... I got the Bash at the Beach set where Luger, Sting, and Savage are painted up like that, so...
Yeah, that's an awesome
And
set.
then again, I guess not everybody's clamoring for a 1995 pay-per-view set, but...
We've said this before, but have you noticed that the Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair faces are their old faces, no matter the body they're on?
Oh,
it could be like, you know, 85 Hogan, and it's going to look like 2023 Hogan's face, you know?
Yeah, which is...
But,
I mean, you would expect it to be the other way around. Like,
right.
At least hope. Is that Pat Tanaka? No.
It is Pat Tanaka. Good job.
Is it?
No.
Oh, shit. No. Oh, it's
I was like, oh, wow.
Really was
my
hoping.
bad. I didn't even know he did.
Yeah.
Techno Team 2000, brother.
Techno turd.
I love that he's even got his bald spot.
Exactly.
painted
Well
back
painted, by the way. Yeah.
He's got the V.
That's like the Indiana Jones scene where the guy's like swinging the sword for like 20 minutes. He just shoots.
Yeah. Oh, this is brother. A huge oil drum.
Mattel needs to bring us camo John Gonzalez as well.
Exactly. We need this, or your collections
I mean,
are
we
not.
need a Thunderbolt while we're at it. Let's just go on and make a.
Oh yeah.
I mean, let's just do a Thunder in Paradise set. Yeah.
Make one of Chris Lemon. Maybe some of that, you know, some of the residuals off of it might help him.
Yeah.
Of it, you know, Bucky's or whatever.
I'd be most excited about the Mrs. Garrett for the set. Not sure what her name was on this show, but
Man, that chair just flew to bits right there. That was like
put her up on
take
Savage's
draw.
shoulder like Elizabeth.
Yeah. That was actually the only female they could sign for the Mattel could get.
yeah.
Gotta hand it to you. You've earned my respect.
It's like that scene from Mitchell. I don't know if y'all watch Mystery Science Theater, but this is like an old Joe Don Baker movie here.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You got what you want.
The,
Let us go
the,
and we'll call it even.
the paint is not.
Doesn't work for me. Tie him up.
Like, where's that voice coming from right now? We can't even see this dude. He's so camouflaged.
Exactly.
I think Hogan got that "doesn't work for me" line from this guy.
Seriously.
Like, that's a great line, brother.
I'm going to use that, brother.
He's ready, Mr. Kilmer.
He's also freezing, it looks like.
Let them go.
Anger or freezing. I can't tell. Dark Journey getting to hold the kid there.
Yep.
Also, can we say that we would like to have Hogan on or Chris Lemon for the next viewing of Thunder in Paradise?
Is that Dan Spivey right there?
I hope so.
Or Barry Windham, maybe?
We'll know if he starts talking like Waylon Mercy here in a minute if it's Spivey.
Seriously. Such a great character, man.
I know it's so crazy because like Dan Spivey had never showed an ounce of personality in all the years you've
Ever.
ever seen him, and then all of a sudden Waylon Mercy turns up, and you're like, where has this been? I mean, like, I realize he's doing De Niro and Cape Fear, but still,
Right, exactly.
that looks like one of the Cole twins actually. Now that I see him up close,
Yeah.
So he's not only a Navy SEAL, he's part Houdini, apparently.
Brother.
Learned this from David Copperfield, brother.
Yeah. Here's Chris.
Oh.
He's acting now. Look, he's like, I'm torn up about it.
Brew finally takes action when his woman went in the water.
Now the little girl cracks me up. Watch this. She's just a look. She, that's her best drowning face. She's just shaking. And the mom just paces.
Did he just bite those chains in two?
He did. It looks like.
There you go. Suck on this, brother.
Get you some light.
Here we got these leftover breathers from the Baywatch.
Not funny, Brew. This ain't the time for that.
Yeah, seriously. This will be in Star Wars in a few years.
That's some incredible paint he put on too. Because it's still on.
I was about to comment. Like I should have got that for Ultimate Warrior because his always come off and.
Seriously, Ultimate Warriors and Stings even too. But Warriors was like a sheet; it would come off like skin.
Yeah, it peeled off. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm giving you mouth to mouth.
I don't need mouth to mouth.
Oh.
Yes, let's make out.
Yeah.
You taste like Clearwater Beach.
Spencer, I don't know what to say.
You'll think of something later. Bruce, strap him in. Remind me to save your life more often.
God.
All right, let's go kill this guy.
Let's get that line secure.
We've only got a few minutes left. We got to take these guys out quick.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Hold on tight.
We'll have you thinking about Jack Lemmon in no time, baby.
I'm going to take these guys out quicker than Goldberg took out Raven's flock.
Yes.
On screen. Get ready. We're busting loose.
It's very dramatic. He instantly just broke loose.
It was just.
You'd have to back it up a couple of times, you know.
Yeah, seriously.
Like,
maybe even tug the boat a little, you know.
Just like. Ching.
No, tugboat's not on this episode.
Yeah, Fred Ottman. Where's he at? They did say he was veering.
He'll come busting through a wall any minute now.
Yeah. I told you. I told you.
I told you.
Dude, the words that are said, the stuff that's said after he falls is the best promo ever, you know? Because you got Robert Fuller going, oh, Lord. Oh, Lord.
What a Davy Boy.
I'd say Davy Boy wins that round.
Yeah, yeah. And then Stevie Ray says something that's just so, who would, you know, so.
That's what's so great is like you got three distinctly different accents where you know exactly who's talking between
yes, exactly.
Colonel Park, Davy Boy Smith, and Stevie Ray. Like,
yeah. I told you.
And then Ole giving his best Frank Oz impersonation.
Look here.
Yeah, seriousserly.
I'm the Black
Shockmaster.
Shockmaster.
Everybody bows before the Shockmaster.
That's good.
Black magic.
Yeah.
2.9.
They got their use out of that voice
He did.
box that he used anyway between the Black Scorpion and Shockmaster.
How did they get by with using that Star Wars painted helmet?
Braided hell. Yeah, well, it was a little lighter back then, I
Yeah,
guess.
once you put the glitter on it, the Star Wars is like, all right, we're not claiming that.
Yeah, it's
It's
cool.
like a third grade art school project.
Art school project. It's a planter, mommy.
And then Shockmaster comes up for the War Games, and he's like an electrician, like a power line
Yeah,
worker
he's got
or
all
something.
the construction hat, and it's like, well, did you ever see, like, there were a couple of random matches on, like, WCW Pro or whatever, where he came out wearing, they called him Super Shockmaster.
Right.
And he was wearing what the gimmick was originally intended to be, and it's like, wow, he kind of dodged a bullet on this. That looks stupid as hell.
Right. That missile Reminds Brutus of his pet dog.
Oh, we just took out that boat.
Yeah, that boat is gone. Where's Elegante at? He's the only guy that can stand on the
Bottom of
ground.
the ocean.
Yeah, the bottom of the ocean. I'm finding you guys.
Radio the Coast Guard. Tell them they can
There he
be
is.
secure.
Never mind.
Spence, what about the treasure, man?
There's always another day in paradise.
That's how you knew your shows were ending in the 80s and 90s. And
Yeah.
chuckle.
Yeah. Back to this on Caesar Hotel.
Oh no.
Now this is the Bubba the Love Sponge segment. Soon
Sure, there's not a
Gawker.
camera in here.
Yeah. Soon Gawker will get a hold of this.
Fool me once, brother. So, Hawk, how do you feel about black people? I don't think so.
Not again, baby.
Not falling for that one.
JYD wasn't half the worker I was, brother.
You look incredible.
It's all I'm gonna say.
Kamala was pretty good though. Wasn't that Hulk Hogan?
You know, I was just looking at something. They're coming out with a Hogan in camo in their SummerSlam line.
Yeah, with the
Yeah.
face mask
What's
or whatever.
what match is that from?
The Desert Storm match.
Yeah,
when he
yeah,
oh,
wrestled,
yeah.
Slaughter during
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
that
Okay.
wonderful period of wrestling.
Okay. I got you. I was trying to think of that. I was like, man.
Oh, there is Bubba the Love Sponge right here.
This was predicted. We just didn't realize that. Prophecy. Is that the guy? I think it's the dude from No Holds Barred, ain't it? Coming back.
Yeah.
Is that
I
Kurt
don't
Fuller?
know. I don't think so.
That's not.
Think about Jack Lemmon.
I said I could have went my whole life without hearing those noises from Hulk Hogan.
Seriously.
Good grief.
Think about Jack Lemmon.
I can only assume it sounds something like, oh, brother, dude.
Sister, brother, sister, brother.
Kind of a shame that security sweep turned up old Uncle
Here in the hot tub.
Yeah, there's the threesome Chris Lemmon deserved.
Lola, would you please, LaRue, show her some of my handiwork?
You have to get the extended video, VHS version for the wild scene that.
Spoiled sport.
Oh, there she goes. Oh, that's what I say. She's going under the water.
Yeah.
Mrs. Garrett's fixing to. She's like, I'll take the top, you take the bottom, if you know what I mean.
We're not doing front back again. We're taking top bottom on this time.
I may have been on. I may have been on Facts of Life, but tonight it's different strokes.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Let's talk about who Brooke dates.
I mean, they took a lot of time to light all those candles.
Seriously. Probably 100 degrees in there, too.
Okay.
All right.
Terry
Wow.
Hogan.
Executive produced by Terry Hogan. Oh, you gotta love the song here. So,
I love they put Anvil in his credit. Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
yes,
They didn't
yes.
put Barber
right.
and Brutus Beefcake.
No. Fred Ottavania? Wonder if that's Fred.
Fred Ottman?
Yeah, I don't think.
I didn't
Surely
see him in
not.
this episode, but
Yeah, I didn't either.
he maybe that was him. That was him playing the tugboat that blew up there at the end.
Yes. Wow. Gene,
We did
you
it.
stuck around with us the whole
You made it, man.
hour, almost 2 hours, man. You're the best, brother. So that is Thunder in Paradise 1, or the first 2 episodes of the series, the pilot, however you want to look at it. But ladies and gentlemen, we have done you a favor and watched it. So
You ought to do us
anybody
a favor and
give
watch
their
along as we
thoughts?
talk.
Anybody want to give their quick thoughts here?
I did not remember I watched this back in the day. I rented the video, and then, I mean, it used to be on in the background when Nitro would come on. You know, they showed it. It was before or after. But
yeah.
I really didn't remember one thing about this. I might as well have watched it for the first time today, honestly.
There you go.
I remember it slightly like the feel of Baywatch, basically, and that's, I mean,
right,
for good reason.
Right.
But it's, you know, it's totally of its era, and it's, you know, if you're wanting to be serious and watch a Academy Award-winning film, this is not for you. But then again, why are you listening to us if that's what you're looking for?
Well, I was going to say, you know, if you're in a mood for a good Hulk Hogan movie and you want to watch the Academy Award-winning movie, you're out of luck, because this is about as good as it gets on Hulk Hogan.
Exactly. Exactly. So, hey, listeners out there, if you've enjoyed this and you want us to watch more stuff, maybe Gene, Jared, and I can get together and watch something else, or maybe we continue with Thunder in Paradise. Y'all let us know, of course, on our socials.